guys, why don't we give Howard Hanna a clap for what they put on for you guys here today? Can we give them? Wow. I always like to know, how many of us are connected? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, any of those things, YouTube. How many of us are connected? Let's see it. Awesome. For those 3 people, appreciate that. How many of you have never heard of me before? Let's take a look at that. Not so quick, guys. Take your time next time. You've never had an ego shot like watching 1,000 people raise their hand all in unison saying, no, I don't know this guy. I have nothing to do with this guy. How many of you chose to work for Howard Hanna like you made the choice? It wasn't forced upon you. That is as easy as it's going to get, guys. How many of you chose to work for Howard Hanna? Easy question, right? I was telling somebody earlier, I was in an event somewhere, and I asked the crowd, I said, how many men do I have in the room? And this guy actually looked at his wife before he raised his hand. And I said, sir, I'm going to answer this for you, okay? You are not a man. That is not the prerequisite to be a man, okay? So how many of you chose to work for Howard Hanna? How many of you know why you chose to work here? Do you realize buyers and sellers every single day are going through the 3rd most stressful time in their life? Death, divorce, and moving. And they are making decisions based on who they're going to work with, based on who's going to make them more comfortable, who's going to get them through the process. The very same reasons that a lot of you chose to work here. The tools, the reputation, a lot of the reasons that you chose to work here are why people choose to work with you. Do you guys know how many of you know you have an inner voice? How many of you, no matter what I say, are not going to raise your hand right now? Really, guys? How many of you know you have an inner voice? How many of you know your inner voice sometimes can be a bit of an a-hole? Is that true? Today we are going to talk about something I call defeat the voice. We have this inner voice. We have this thing that's always talking to us. There's always something going on up here. True or not true? You're all thinking of people right now who you think have nothing going on up here, okay? And don't look at anybody right now. That could get a little bit awkward, okay? But there's always something going on up here. There's always an inner voice. There's always these narratives that you're creating inside your head. But do you know that we have a lot of control over what that narrative's going to be? We have control over what we're telling ourselves. We have control over what we're saying to ourselves. Do you guys recognize that? Do you realize if the majority of you talk to any of your friends the way that you talk to yourself, you would literally have no friends? Do you realize that? Isn't it true? Any of you on a diet right now? Room full of liars. Are any of you on a diet right now? Did any of you ruin it at the convention? Yeah. Are any of you about to ruin it, I should say? Okay? Here's the problem. Here's what happens with this whole inner voice thing. You decide, you know what, I'm going to do well. I'm going to eat well. I'm going to drink well. I'm going to do all these kinds of things. Then all of a sudden, you go out last night. There's a great party. You come in this morning. You eat too much breakfast. You eat too much whatever it happens to be. And you have these conversations, and you say to yourself, why did I eat so much? Anybody ever said this? Now, if any of your friends asked you that same question, you'd probably go, sweetie, it's okay. You'll get over it. It's all right. Just eat better next time. We'll just do this. It's okay. Is that how you talk to yourself? No. You ask yourself that exact same question, and you know what you're going to say back to yourself? You know what that inner narrative, that inner voice is going to say? Now, by the way, this is your inner voice. I just want to make this very clear. This is not me, okay? Don't come looking for me later. This is your inner voice. You know what your inner voice is going to say back to you? Your inner voice is going to say that you're a fat pig and can't control yourself. And how do you feel now? Terrible, right? But we have control over this. You are either going to be in 2 positions. You're either going to be in one position where you're constantly listening to whatever that inner narrative is, or you're going to be in a position where you are constantly talking to yourself and telling yourself the things that you want to hear, the things that you need to hear. It goes both ways, guys. You control so much. Do you control your state? Do you control how you feel? Do you? Does music? I was joking around earlier and I was saying, guys, when you listen to a depressing song, how do you feel? Depressed. And I said, guys, when we come to the 5:30 to 7:30 networking thing, do you think they'll have music on? And everybody said. And I said, do you think it'll be loud music? And everybody said. And I said, do you think it'll be Celine Dion all by myself? And everybody said, no, why not? Creates state, creates how we feel. We have complete control over these things. You don't believe that? Everybody do me a favor right now. Stand up and say hello to somebody less attractive than you. Go. I don't see a lot of people getting up, I'm just saying. You guys don't follow instructions? I don't know what's going on. Now, everybody stop. How do you feel right now that you just laughed? How do you feel? You feel amazing, right? Did you have control over that? Guys, you have control over that, of what you feed yourself, what you listen to, what you watch. All of this matters. I was telling the group earlier, I said I wake up every single morning, and for the first half hour, I pray, read, immerse myself in good content, and I watch good video. Every single day. And someone said, well, what do you watch? Do you watch your own videos? And I'm like, what did you just say to me? Like, if you already labeled me a narcissist, I'm watching my own. This guy is fantastic. Oh, wow. Amazing. No, sometimes I wake up and I watch the clip from Jimmy Fallon the night before. You know why? Because it makes me laugh. Does laughter change things? It absolutely does, guys. We have control over so many of these things. I wrote a book recently called Get Out of Your Way. And the basic idea was that in every single scenario, good or bad, who is the common denominator? Who's the common denominator? We are. So we create all these, oh, it's not because of this, my broker doesn't give me enough leads, these leads suck, you know, because they weren't ready to list next week, and oh my God. Get out of your way. If you want to lose weight, guys, 500 years ago, what do? Diet and exercise. You don't want to lose weight 250 years ago, what do? I gave you the answer, I'm just saying. Like, there's no different answer. They didn't make any changes in 250 years. It's still, if you want to lose weight yesterday, what do? And yet we'll go watch some infomercial with some belt that straps around our waist and shakes our stomach enough, and if we act right now, we get 2 for $19.99 because anything but diet and exercise. Guys, is that the story of our industry? Kid asked me recently, he goes, that was really good, I loved it, but can you just tell me the one thing I could do to get ahead of all this stuff? Eventually I'll do all that, but what's the one thing I can do? I looked this kid square in the eyes and I said, you could never ask that question again. Never in your life should you ever ask that question again. We need to learn to stop listening to ourselves and start talking to ourselves. Stop being controlled and start controlling. So I'm going to cover with you guys right now a couple of really quick things that will probably be, we actually polled our Facebook friends, our Facebook followers, our Twitter followers, and we polled, and I wanted to know the three top things that were inner narratives, that were voices that we needed to defeat. And I think some of you guys will relate to some of these, okay? Number one was, I don't have enough time. Has anybody ever heard this before? Anybody ever heard this before? I don't have enough time. I need more time. Let me tell you something. What do myself, you, the President of the United States, the guy who gets my trash every week, what do we all have in common? 1,440 minutes every single day. That's what we have in common. You know what else we have in common? Every single one of us thinks we don't have enough time. That's an inner narrative that we are telling ourselves. That is a voice that we need to learn to defeat because it's not helping us. We buy into things that aren't even real. You ever taken a class on time management? You ever had that one? I'm going to manage my time better because that must be the problem. Let me tell you something, guys. There's no such thing as time management. There's no such thing. How many seconds are in a minute? 60 seconds in a minute, right? So I need to get better at time management. So I'm going to go and I'm going to manage my time all year. I'm going to take all the courses I can. Can somebody tell me now how many seconds are in a minute? Oh, it's still 60. So I guess I need to get better and I need to go manage my time a little bit better. So I check back the next 12 months. How many seconds in a minute? Time doesn't need managing, guys. Guess who does? We do. We love to put the focus on things that are out of our control. That way it's not our fault when it doesn't work out. So we're going to work on time management. We're going to work on, so if it doesn't work, it's just that skill, we're the common denominator. We've got to eliminate that thought process. What about the next one? Anybody ever heard this one? I don't have enough money. Anybody? Anybody know someone who doesn't have enough money? Are they sitting in your seat right now? I don't have enough money. I can't buy leads like some people can. I can't do the marketing that I need in order to survive or in order to make the kind of money. Have you ever noticed the same people who are broke at 30,000 are broke at 50,000 or broke at 70,000 or broke at 90,000 or broke? Have anybody ever noticed this, or is this just me? Broke at all levels must be a money problem. Maybe you have a lifestyle problem. Maybe. It's not about that, guys, trying to keep up and trying to make. By the way, some of you don't have enough money. That might be true. That might be an inner voice. That might be a narrative. That is actually true. But does that mean that it is something you want to empower? Does that mean that it's something that you want to let exist? The question is not whether it's true or not. The question is whether it's pushing you towards what you're trying to get to. I don't have enough money. Guys, I talked to someone earlier and they said, well, as soon as I get financially secure, I'm going to do this. Or as soon as I make more money, as soon as I can stop worrying about money, I'm going to join your coaching. That's actually exactly what they said to me. And if you're in this room, I apologize, but it's the truth. Here's the truth about that. You are never going to stop worrying about money ever in your life. Bill Gates still worries about money. Did you know that? Richest man on the face of the earth still worries about money on a different level. You can't allow these types of voices, these inner narratives, to control what you are doing and keep you from where you are going. Anybody been alive for longer than 40 years? You don't get a restart. You either use the time you have or you waste it. It's really that simple. So what are you going to do? Life to me is ultimately about the ing. It's about the ing in everything. There's no such thing as balance between my family and my work life. It's called balancing. Right now, I'm not in full balance. I'm not hanging out with my kids. I guess I'm not balanced. When I'm hanging out with them, I guess I'm not in balance because I'm not working with you guys. Everything is about the ing of everything we do. It's playing, it's working, it's setting, it's... Stop going for that destination that's never going to happen. You're never going to stop worrying about it. Money's money. You can manage your money better, but you're never going to hit a point when that's not going to happen. I was talking to a group earlier and I said, look guys, you don't have enough money. For some of you that's very true, okay? But there's two types of equity that you create on this earth. One is called check equity and one is called sweat equity. Check equity and sweat equity. Check equity says that I can walk up to you and I can go, here you go, I'm buying 30% of your company, all I'm doing is paying for it. Check equity says, you know what, I get involved in real estate, I've got a little cash saved up and I'm going to buy leads. I'm going to buy opportunities each and every day. That is check equity. Some of you have the ability to do that and some of you do not. But you know what the other kind of equity is called? It's called sweat equity. Sweat equity is something that is available to each and every person in this room, regardless of how much money you make or anything else. That is a narrative, that is a voice that we need to defeat when it comes to money. You can create sweat equity. I'm going to give you guys a way when I close here. I'm going to give you an email you can send to, or I'm going to give you some free training on ways that you can actually create sweat equity, because I want to give you tangible things and such. But if you're someone who looks at me and goes, well, I don't have check equity, I don't have the money. Great, so we'll do sweat equity. If you then tell me, well, I don't have sweat equity either, then you are managing your day, your calendar completely incorrectly, because you're obviously doing things all day long that are not creating any kind of income. That doesn't work. The things you need to do for sweat equity, are they difficult? Is making money difficult? Can anybody tell me? Do you know the only thing more difficult than making money? Not making money. Okay? You think it's difficult having to do things that require sweat equity and require you to get turned down and require you to have to go through the ringer and require you? Yeah, very difficult. Only thing more difficult? Not making money. Worrying about the bills every single month. Worrying about how you're going to pay for your mortgage or your rent. Worrying about how you're going to get the things for the kids that the other kids have. Worrying about, that's the only thing more difficult than making money, is not making money. There are people in this room that as I'm saying that, your inner narrative, the voice you need to defeat is the one that's going, oh, here we go, money talk. Money won't make you happy, right? You've heard that one before? I always love that. Someone came up to me recently, they go, you know, money won't make you happy. And I said, yes, well, neither will being broke, okay? So I don't really know where we're going with this right now. Why don't we just defeat that inner narrative and realize, okay, I need to do something that creates a little more income, because I'm going to tell you guys right now, I've been broke and I've been not broke, and I'm just saying one is easier than the other. It's That's all I'm saying. I'm just going to lay that out on the table, okay? One is much easier than the other. You don't make enough money to have whatever. Guys, you work here. You have every tool available to you, every tool known to man. What is the excuse with money? What don't you have that you need? Do you realize the advantage you have on so many people in your marketplace? But we got to take advantage of it. What are tools without? I said to someone earlier, I said, hey, can a builder say, I just don't believe in that hammer thing? That hammer thing's just not for me. You're in real estate, guys. There's certain tools you need to be using, and they make them available to you. Why don't we use them? Third thing I want to cover. I'm just not good enough, or I'll never be as good as. I heard this from someone recently. They said, I'll never be as good as. Anybody in your office you've ever seen that seems to make transactions on a regular basis, or maybe somebody in your marketplace, and every time they make a transaction, you just kind of are like, what? How does this happen? Does anybody know somebody like that? Guys, don't look at anybody right now, okay? But does anybody know somebody like that? Like, were there people involved? Like, how in the world are they making this? Like, what is going on? Anybody know somebody like that? Let me tell you something about value. It's an important point. Who, if I were to ask right now, would want this $20 bill right here? Who would want it? Raise your hand if you'd want it. Okay, good question. So keep your hands raised, okay? I'm going to do something here. You ready? Okay, I just crumpled it up. Who still wants the $20 bill? Anybody? Okay, hold on. Let me do this. Okay, I just stepped on it. Who still wants the $20 bill? Why do you still want it? Its value has nothing to do with what it's gone through. Nothing. The value we put in this has everything to do with the American public's faith in what we call a $20 bill. Right? That's all it is a piece of paper with a dead person on it. But the value we place is that, everybody agrees that that's worth $20, right? It's backed by the U.S. government. It is, if you're in this room and you think you're not good enough to hit a certain level, you're not good enough to be a top producer, you're not as good as this person, you'll never be as good as that person, I want to encourage you with something right now. The fact that you work here at this company means that unlike many of your competitors that will go out and hire anyone that they can hold a glass up to their mouth and see that they're breathing, they didn't do that. They looked at you and went, I see value. Any of you been through the ringer? I mean, can we just get real for a second? Have any of you been through the ringer in real estate? Have any of you had difficult times? Have any of you ever had the thought in your head, will I ever sell a house again? Has anybody ever had that thought, guys? I was in this industry, I get it. Anybody? Guys, I was number one in the country and I had those thoughts every time I sold a home. I was like, will it ever happen again? You ever had those thoughts? Well, just like the $20 bill is backed by the confidence of U.S. citizens and the U.S. government, you were hired by a company who looked at you and went, I see something in that. I see something in that person. I think they're going to be something. I think they're going to. Here's what I know, guys. Our head is filled with 63,000 thoughts every single day. 63,000. 80 to 90% of those thoughts are positive or negative. Negative. Over 50,000 negative thoughts a day. Everything you think, everything going on up here, this is why we have to defeat the voice. Everything going on up here was ultimately created by all the relationships you were in, the familial, the family status you had, the people you were with, all the things you were told, the words, all of that stuff ultimately created a factory, a business in your head. And whatever that business is, it's going to output whatever it is it's supposed to put out based on what it's learned to do. A bread factory puts out what? An oil factory puts out what? Your head, the 63,000 thoughts a day have been created. A family business has been started up here that is either putting out a whole lot of crap or it's not. And some of the people in this room, and you know who they are, have got to almost do like Michael Corleone in The Godfather 2. Remember when he was trying to legitimize his family business? Because he said, if I don't make this legitimate, if I don't take this business and make it legitimate, it's going to kill me and everybody in my family. Anybody remember that? Some of you need to get to the point where you Michael Corleone that family business going on up here, or it's going to kill you and everybody you know. If not by breath, then by life. What I mean is some of you are still breathing, but you're not alive. I mean, you're miserable. Every room you walk into, this is bad, that's bad, this is going, oh, this is whatever. Every morning you wake up, you try to figure out how to get back to this position in the bed. Like, how do I look like a functioning person today? Like I'm worth something, I'm not lazy, and I care about people, but I really just want to get back to this bed. Okay? We all know somebody like that. Hey there, you, and I am talking to you in particular, person that made it to the end of my video. It means the world to me. But if you made it to the end, I'm hoping that you'll take a second and subscribe right here. Make sure you share that with all your friends, by the way. They're in real estate, sales, entrepreneurial, whatever it happens to be. By the way, if you're looking for a speaker for your upcoming event, click right here to get some more information. And as usual, if you have a question you want me to personally respond, just connect on social. You can click right over here and see all the platforms I'm on. I hope to hear from you soon. Have a great one.